All right. Welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is SIMBA, Elijah Charles KIAGE. All right. And AMWAI Brian is back. AMWAI Brian, how are you doing, sir?
What did you say?
AMWAI Brian is back. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain.
Wow. Isn't it the things that Morning Drift used to help you with? You were on point, sharp, direct to the point. Anyway, we're happy to have you back, AMWAI Brian.
I'm glad to be back. Not
Wait,
for long.
How many days are you with us?
Pardon?
How many? AMWAI Brian, how many days are you with us on the Morning Drift?
For 2 days.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm serving for today and tomorrow.
Or just today and tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow.
Just one day?
Mm-hmm. Is it one day? I'm left with 1 day, though.
Yeah? That's it?
Tomorrow I'll still be here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, doing this.
AMWAI Brian, are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a night person. I
So
found it
really
very hard.
struggling.
It was a struggle today.
Yeah.
You see, I arrived late here.
Yeah.
Because it's always a struggle waking up in the morning. I had my alarm, had to extend a little bit because at this particular time, I think if it is a normal day for me,
Yeah.
I'll have woken up like 15 minutes ago, took a shower, then I'll be rushing to work. But, yeah.
I'm not going to comment about, I saw you walk into the studio this morning, not more than 3/4 point something of that percentage, you're 100% dressed for work. The rest of it was like, oh, we can go to work. Pull whatever is next to me.
I think people who wake up in the morning don't have a choice. It's not because they want to.
Yeah.
You understand? So some people like to put it, I know maybe you are a morning person.
Yeah, I'm a morning person.
You like waking up in the morning and all that at 5 a.m. and I'm not the 5 a.m. club.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I sleep late, I wake up late. That sounds wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. And
I did make the right decisions in life. That's why I'm here.
But here's the thing, though. As long as you sleep for 6 hours, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 hours?
Yeah. 6 hours, 6 to 8. If you can get that,
you see,
then you're fine.
Okay, so I don't know. I think at some point in life, I just said, where exactly am I rushing to? You understand?
Yeah.
There's no point, man. So you just rest as much as you can.
Anyway, that's it. At this point, I just want us to jump quickly and see what is trending this morning, and then see exactly how that conversation will be. Now, this is Roslyn Kenjo. So we're concerned about the welfare of our Kenyan diaspora in the Sudan following the outbreak of hostilities Saturday. The SDDA is charged with the responsibility of championing the rights, welfare of all Kenyans abroad. Now, it's important that we see the next one, which is a picture of exactly how then you can actually be in touch. Now, these are the emergency contact numbers for friends and family and Kenyans in the Sudan. If you're watching us online right now as we speak, call those numbers. That's 249, that's 900, 194, 854, and 254, 114, 757, 002, if you really are in distress or need help. Now, what we do know, AMWAI, is that there is a 24-hour ceasefire that started yesterday at 6 p.m. So all the way up to 6 p.m. today, then it will be active. So probably now, AMWAI, if indeed we're going to talk about saving Kenyans who are in Sudan from whatever is going on, that this could be the right time for us to jump in, isn't it?
Yeah, and actually the government had said it was planning to evacuate close to 3,000 Kenyans who are actually in Sudan, and that was a statement that was given yesterday by the Foreign Affairs Ministry, starting with this particular PS. Now, this is the thing. We did mention there was a ceasefire. Yeah. But something funny is that hours to that particular ceasefire, minutes to 6 p.m., there's still, battles going on in Khartoum, and people are wondering whether we are actually going to have that particular ceasefire or not. The ceasefire was initially to help people access medical services, get food and all that. So because people are locked into their homes, some are hungry, some are sick and things like that. So they wanted to some of them to actually get that particular help that they needed to stay alive and things like that before, continue with the war.
Yeah, pretty much. We do have another tweet here that is essentially then touching on the crisis in South Sudan. Just waiting for somebody to move this window. the new folder. Yes, thank you very much. Isn't it? UNHCR is deeply concerned about the safety of civilians affected by the fighting in Sudan. We call on all parties to protect civilians, including refugees and displaced people, and to respect the safety of humanitarian workers.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was in regards to, because there are also reports that humanitarian workers were actually being attacked. They were actually being targeted. So people that were trying to provide help for those who have been affected, for those who have been caught in the war, for those who needed medical services, for those who needed food, were actually being targeted. And so the UNHCR actually came out and said, this one is totally wrong. It actually has to stop. We cannot do this. We are trying to help people and save as many lives as we can. Do not target the people that are trying to provide that particular aid and things like that. So close to 200 people have already died. Now this thing started on Saturday, Simba. Today is Wednesday. 200 have already died. We have no idea at what point this one is going to end, and by then, how many people will have lost their lives.
That's a big number, by the way, especially when we're talking about 200, and that was in just a couple of hours, by the way. And if it were not for that ceasefire, I'm pretty much sure that we could be counting more that are already dead at this particular point. It's sort of pulling in so much concerns about human rights in Southern Sudan right now. And you know what, AMWAI, when we're looking at how 2023 is shaping, we will say that Africa, we were sort of gearing to some stability in a political sense, if you may allow me say that. We have not seen so much of infighting in African states. Now, this one, again, is one of those big events that we'll be looking at the end of the year and saying, well, you do remember that, again, in Southern Sudan, a nation that we do know the history of where they are up to arriving at Southern Sudan, essentially, again, went back to the dark past that was essentially the entire Sudan.
Okay. Now that's I don't know, to some extent, it doesn't show a good picture, but we just see different organizations coming in and, calling for cessation, ceasefire rather. And actually IGAD did select a couple of people who are supposed to be spearheading these particular talks and making sure that we get to normalcy and peace in that particular region. 2 days ago, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, that is IGAD, called for immediate cessation of hostilities between the warring parties in Sudan. President William Ruto, that is our president, joined President Salva Kiir of South Sudan, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda, Ismail Omar and of Djibouti, and Hassan Mohammed of Somalia for a virtual meeting of heads of state to discuss the crisis. Now, they settled on something. Now, Ruto did actually ask IGAD leaders to take a firm position to restore peace in Khartoum. Right now, we do understand they resolved to send President Kiir, President Ruto, and President Gwele at the earliest possible time to reconcile the conflicting groups. We have no idea whether they've already gone there or they started and things like that. So maybe we are looking to have positive feedback from that particular region. Like we said, 200 is a big number. We're still counting.
It is a big number.
Yeah.
It's a big number. Losing 200 people is a big number.
It is a big number.
About. And by the way, when we're reporting about these numbers, those are the reported deaths. So it could be more.
Yeah, it
that's
could
how
be
you
more.
look at this figure. That's why it essentially becomes a humanitarian crisis when we're talking about in respect of the number of people that we're losing at this particular point. It is huge numbers that we're talking about. That.
It is huge, and I don't know. I don't know how African countries can come to to stop this infighting. What exactly happens, Simba, that we come to a point where we're so angry with power that we cannot maintain peace? Each and every person wants a share of the top seat. And also, at the end of the day, I think the big question between these two particular factions is that where exactly will we be when it comes to government, because each side wants that particular power. So whichever decision they get to arrive at will have now to determine which position they will take in that particular, negotiations and all that, if at all they're going to form government or not. So who becomes second and who becomes first? So those are some of the things that will actually be, they will be battling to actually agree on. Yeah.
Pretty much. Do we have more? Or we've run out of time. We have more. All right. It's the same thing. We've looked at this as well. Yeah. All right. This is the government critic was saying that nowadays Raila Odinga makes his announcement using the pulpit of Kalonzo Musyoka. This could mean that it's going back to back him up in 2027. Kenya Kwanza should prepare to be in opposition. There's nothing like kumi yangu, kumi yako. No one would wish this regime to extend their term. That's according to the government critic. Yeah.
And I believe there's a photo that people actually, because Kalonzo Musyoka is actually trending on Twitter, and you're wondering where exactly is it trending? I think it's the kind of pictures that they had yesterday that is in regards to when they are having that particular presser telling us that we could be going back to the streets, and the Kenya Kwanza side is not actually serious about having these particular talks. And yes, the picture on the screen, SIMBA, is Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga having these, seem to be having a pretty good conversation. I don't know, I can't really say. But so from that particular picture is what Kenyans are looking at and saying, okay, this, will actually be a good relationship that could lead to one supporting the other in the coming elections, because one has been supporting the other in the past elections.
It's a lot of conversation around that. Yeah. And the bigger news around this is that it's indeed true. If you look at the demeanor of one Kalonzo Musyoka in the way that he's been actively participating in the demos that we've seen across the country by the Azimio coalition, the guys who had predicted that just give him time, he's going to run over the other side. It looks as if this time is here to stay, isn't it? Yeah.
And I don't think people expected him to last this long in the opposition. Those talks, immediately the Kenya Kwanza government took power. There are talks that, rumors from the streets and the political factions that Kalonzo was being wooed to actually join the government and things like that. So a lot of people expected him to jump ship and, go to the government side and all that. But he's here to stay. He's here to stay. He's putting up a spirited fight when it comes to leading, Kenyans to the streets and demonstrating and protesting the high cost of living, issues to do with the electoral justice and all that, and reforms. And so I don't know, to some extent trying to shed that tag that he's always accorded to him. That is the watermelon tag, because you never know what to expect from him at some point. But I think this time round, he seems to be, stamping authority and saying, I'm grounded here, and this is where I am. And it's a coalition of the willing, quote unquote.
Pretty much. Just a quick one as well. There's a particular time. Do we have one more? What was that? The result yesterday by Chelsea? AMWAI doesn't support sport.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not so much into it. But I did put something that has to do with sports in that particular code. I don't know. I don't know if it's related to whatever happened yesterday or whichever day. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's Chelsea played yesterday against Real Madrid. They were thrashed again, 2-0. Here's the thing, AMWAI. Chelsea team this season invested more money than all the entire European clubs combined. There's so many. When you're talking about European clubs, there's so many in the top flight. I'm talking about in the top flights combined. And things have gone really bad for them.
That money was invested, you could be making an investment, but a wrong one.
They bought beautiful players on paper. Yeah. Even snatched players that were supposed to go to Arsenal. They paid 100 million for those kind of players. They paid another 100 million for some called Enzo Fernandez. They paid so much, all right? On paper, they had won it. They bought almost 11 players at once, okay? On paper, they had won it. But guess what? They're out of the Champions League. They're position 11 in the league. They might crash to 12th. And that's how bad things are now. The They've lost their fourth consecutive match.
What could be happening there? Because I did see some, I think, Drogba trending, and this is in relation to a quote that he had made. I just want to take you through that. Yeah. I said, this club had a certain class during the Roman Abramovich era, but now I find it lacking. It's very hard to see how they got rid of certain people. They should go back to the previous principle and values. I no longer recognize my club. So what exactly happened? What is the wrong thing? If you say they did a very big investment on this one, was that a mistake? Did they not, do proper calculations or what?
I'll tell you what happened. They lost the plot. They got a new manager. They got a new owner. His name is Todd Boyle. Came in and promised that things are going to be very different. So there was a manager who now manages for Bayern. His name is Tuchel. He had come in, won for them a couple of trophies, and then now he's winning. They went through a shaky period. I can say within 7 games, they got some results here and there. They were not essentially that good. So now once this new owner came in, fired him, said, we're going to start a project. Went and got a manager from Brighton. His name is Graham Potter. Came in, gave Graham Potter so many players, the 11 plus that I was talking about, and then said, this is exactly how we're going to play now. Good. When they started playing, this experiment that they started with Graham Potter was not working. Got into the worst results in the history of that club. All right? So what did he do? This manager who they got towards the end of 2022, after firing Tuchel, a manager who's now managing a top club in Europe in the name of Bayern, they fired him. Went for an old boy. Now listen, his name is Lampard. Lampard, who they had fired earlier on for underperforming, and bringing in Tuchel. Tuchel, who they fired. Okay? So they recycled. They went back to Lampard and said, Lampard, come in, hold on to this club, and then after that, towards the end of the season now, at the end of the season, we're going to get permanent manager. Guess what? Lampard has come in. It's getting worse than even during Graham Potter's period, because since Lampard came in, he's managed 4 games, and all those games, Chelsea has gone on to lose.
Okay, so I'd like to understand something. Who exactly is to blame when a club does not perform well? Is it the manager? Is it the coach? Is it the players? Because I believe the people on the field are the ones that are playing.
In this scenario, the owner, Todd Boyle, is to blame.
Okay.
Yeah, because then it looks as if the things that money doesn't solve, by the way. AMWAI. When they say, money solves it. No, it doesn't solve everything. No, that's a testament that money doesn't solve everything. Because what he did, he came in and said, I've got so much money now to put into this club. Tell me which player is good, and we're going to get that player. All right, so what they were doing, Arsenal floats rumors that they're going for a certain player, Chelsea ran in, buy that player. All right? They paid ridiculous money for talent. All of a sudden, turns out that there wasn't so much that was done around these players. Okay. Or these players that they brought in needed more time to develop. So you're not essentially going to come in and buy an entire team to help you win the league. You get it? Okay. All of a sudden now, things look so bad for them, because it looks as if the owner was the one who was driving this conversation. Now, here's the danger. You're going to get into interviews and get a permanent manager, all right? Probably at the end of this season. Then this manager is going to look at these players, the 11 plus that you bought all at once, and say, no, these are not my type of players. So I got to bring in my players. So now Chelsea have a bloated squad. They've got like 35 first-team players now in that team. Again, they have to think about how to sell the ones that they already have, because they bought an entire team. And once a new manager comes in, he's also going to look at these ones that he has and say, I don't know them. So they also got to think about how to change the team as well. So it's just starting for them. It might take years and years for Chelsea.
Right. My final question, I have a lot of questions, but this is the thing. So if you buy good talent, what else do you need to have to make sure that you perform better? Because like you put it, talent is not enough. So what else is it that seems to be lacking in this particular class, despite having the best of talents?
It is the lack of strategy, identity. Whatever Drogba is talking about that. You can have a style. You can have an identity. This is how we play as Chelsea. This is how we play at Arsenal. This is how we play as Man City. Man City have an identity. they will pass you to death. And once they get a chance, they're going to outscore you. That's their identity. Okay. They've got good defenders, good midfielders, and good creative forwards. There was a time that they did not even have a striker, but they don't care. They have one guy in the name of Haaland who has scored 40+ goals this season, but guess what? They don't need him because they already have an identity. Same thing that we've seen from Arsenal this season. They're saying, well, with this how we play, we're going to outsmart you, we're going to pass you to death, and we're going to defend good. Sure. Now, whatever's going on at Chelsea is 11 players, all who've gone through how many managers? 4. Different instructions. Graham Potter was here with them, told them to do this. All right? Lampard is here telling them to do this. Before that, there was Tuchel telling them to do this. So all of a sudden, it looks as if, oh yeah, that was the assistant manager who took them to training for some time and telling them to do this now, you know? So all of a sudden, they've got nothing to play for. Because why? Arsenal is playing to win the league, isn't it? Man City is playing to win the FA, the European League, that is the Champions League, and the Premier League as well. Man United is playing to win Europa League. They're also in FA. Chelsea have got nothing to play for. So you look at them, go like, what am I going to tell these players? To play for what? We can't win the league. We are not in any competition. Even next season, by the way, AMWAI, they're not going to get into any European competition. Whether it's Conference League, Europa League, or Champions League. They're not there. So why would they play? Existing without a purpose? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. Anyway, AMWAI, it's been good. It's been good. Thank you very much for coming by, man.
Thank you.
We have you tomorrow as well? Yeah. Yeah?
We do this again tomorrow.
We meet again tomorrow. Yeah. That's what it is. Thank you very much for sticking around. Our guest for the garlic conversation looks as if they're in traffic, but probably get them tomorrow as well. Thank you very much. Online at Lookuptv, across all your social media platforms. I am at KIAGE SIMBA. That man right there, if he's not changed it, he's still at AMWAI. As I see you tomorrow.